Hello, my name is Harriton Watko. Welcome to our program. At this point, we're going to talk about the current events, but in the global world, based on how we see it as Filipinos. Now, there's a lot of interest and a lot of conflict that will go on, and you have to sort of read through everything because every country they all have their own interests. The need to understand it and how we wedge ourselves in to help us understand where we fit, how we fit, and how we should act is another issue. Now, it's not necessarily just for the intelligent to understand, but sana if only the critics took the time to study a little more, read a little more, and understand a little more. After all, the mighty dollar, either way, still controls the currency of this world.
Yeah.
We have Gil Santos with us.
Yeah.
Professor Gil Santos, he's the president of the Futuristic Center. Gil, let's talk about the rest of the world. Who do
Okay.
we start with? Russia, of course.
Russia, okay.
Okay, Russia.
Well, you start off with Russia having annexed Crimea
That's still a black eye
2
for
years
them.
ago. 2 years ago.
2 years
yes.
ago.
Okay.
And Europe is still problematic with them. And now they're pushing their pipeline for gas,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And there are takers because it's economically viable and feasible.
And it's cheap.
And it's cheap.
Yeah.
But America's coming in strong saying, don't do this.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the Russians, Trump believes, meddled in the elections.
That's
So-
still going on.
That's still going on, and I think although they will stop talking about it, they will still continue
To
working
begin
on
with,
it.
Where do you stand in that? Is it true? Obvious ba?
Well, you ask the techies, they will say yes.
Okay. And why not? If they can, why not?
Why not? It is in their interest.
But
you
they
know.
promoted Trump, which
Yeah.
is now becoming an adversary, which they thought was an ally at first.
Yes. Well,
so-
mistakes can happen, you know, and
So
they
mali rin.
Mali rin, oh. They committed one. They committed
So
one
good
mistake.
for America, in other words.
Yes.
Good for Trump.
Well, look at Trump's personality. He's a wheeler dealer. He's a
And
businessman.
actually, I'd be scared to bank on him for a long period of time.
Yes.
It's a bit erratic.
Yes, erratic, but in some cases already he has proven that
Yes,
he's
he's done-
correct.
he's done right,
He's
yes.
done right. And look what he did on the case of North Korea. Stop it, you know. And he wrote a letter. Said your statements were open anger and hostility
Against
you know?
the Rocket Man.
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't want any more. You know. So what did the North Koreans
Sanctions,
say? The North Koreans say, well, we are open to it anytime you want. So it worked.
So he pushed them.
Yeah.
He pushed them.
He pushed them. So everyone is testing everybody. You see, and this is a chicken game. You know, he who blinks first loses. You know, that's what's going to happen. In the case of Russia and America, that is what's going to happen. Look at what
It's building up, is what you're saying.
yes
With
look-
Putin. per
Yes,
se.
look at what Trump did. He's doing something which the North Koreans are also doing, talking soft. I mean, the Chinese are doing talking soft and
harshly.
moving harshly. Yeah. What did he do? He got his own national security advisor who is against North Korea.
Right, right.
Yeah, he has got his own Secretary of State now. You know,
Yes,
which are
All anti.
Yes, all anti. And yet here comes the president. No. I am the source of all this, and they are just my extension. You know.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing. And whether we like it or not, compared to Xi Jinping and Kim and Putin, he still has more people believing in him
At this point.
at this point in time. You
Alright.
know, until he makes
So it seems all our world leaders are playing poker.
yes.
Sige nga, hit. Tingnan
Yeah.
natin. Di ba?
Oh.
Parang ganun eh.
See who's going to fold.
See who's gonna fold. And then, hawak mong pera, mas malaki. Ikaw, kukunti na lang.
Oh.
Di ba?
Eto.
Mas malaki.
Oh.
Oo. Kung bagsak ko lahat to, you'll fold anyway.
Yeah.
Parang ganon.
Yes.
But is Russia succeeding? Well, with the gas line, it looks like they will get their customers.
They are getting these customers because winter is coming in Europe, and
Mura.
because of the cheap rates of the Russian gas, it's going to help Europe already. Yes, fine, that's
But
fine.
Europe is in a dilemma because if he does another trade war like he's beginning with China, he can do this with Europe.
Yes.
And it's not going to bode well with Brexit coming up next March.
However, however, Trump needs Europe, and he's not going to do anything like he's doing with China or
But
Russia.
he's already mentioned it. He's brought out the threat.
Yes,
He's already told them, don't do that.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing with the steel, di ba? Although, like, Brexit is reaching out, baliktad.
And the steel and aluminum
Yes.
taxes are selective. You see?
Selective nga eh.
Selective.
Sa importation sa Amerika.
Again, this is the poker game that Trump is playing. Let's see how it's going to work out. As far as I'm concerned, let us see how the Philippines should be able to work in our national favor.
Well, we're buying a lot of cheap steel from China.
Well, not anymore. It's going to be Pohang.
But so far, we've been buying it, and the developers have no morality and care nothing as long as they can import it, use it cheaply, and the developers know nothing about how it goes on.
Yeah.
So it seems. Now, let's look at, you've got Europe. Okay, how about Syria? How about the game of Syria versus Putin and Trump?
Well, this is the game in Syria. You see, Assad is a Shiite,
Yes.
and the rebels are Sunnis.
Yeah. That civil war will go on forever. But
However, the extremists, the terrorists, are with the Sunnis. Therefore, America is in a bind. They have to support Assad, although they don't
they
like
don't
Assad.
like Assad.
They don't like
but
Assad.
you also have the Kurds, who America is supporting, who the Shiites hate. Di
Yeah,
ba?
but that's different because you're dealing with Afghanistan and the Central Asian portion. So as far as
So
the,
it's a civil war that's gone wrong, and it doesn't look like there are corrections that can be installed.
no, I don't think so.
Not at least for the.
And Israel is not going to allow the Syrians to get down to the Bekaa Valley.
Period.
Yes.
And how about Netanyahu with his incendiary speeches against Iran? Di ba? I mean, he wants to blow up Iran today, di
Yeah.
ba? And not wait.
And I think he means it. I
Yes,
think he
it's
means
obvious,
it.
yes.
And the intelligence, the military intelligence of the Israelis are far more superior than the Americans. And even their inventions, don't
I know, I
underestimate them.
realize
Yeah.
that. I realize
They have more sophisticated
Weaponry, yeah.
weaponry, yes, and they got the upper hand. So I believe them when they say, "We are going to bomb you out,"
Obliterate.
obliterate you, bomb you out like hell when we need to.
There is new leadership in Iran right now, and it seems it's turning left again.
Yes.
It's pro to the left, not
Yes.
center,
Yeah.
and not to the right. And after Trump discarded the deal, it leaves Europe in a quandary. Where is that gonna go? Mukhang puputok yan, ano?
Puputok yan, but the main factor that will slow down the leftists in there in Iran is going to be the food. You see,
So
they will need the
this
food.
will-
Yeah.
It will eventually escalate to chaos in Iran against their. But then
Their
they have
own.
the nuclearization as well. They are threatening to enrich it. And if they enrich some more, Israel will make sure that they stop them.
And Israel is not going to stop there. They're going to keep on monitoring and keep the Iranians on their toes.
The European countries continue to buy oil regardless of what America has told them not to do.
Wait a minute. This week, the Saudi Arabians just increased their production. That is the reason the international cost of oil per barrel has gone down.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden, yes. And that's going to be so. Also because in the United States, they found out that they've got 2 oil deposits.
They don't need Saudi
They don't
anymore.
need Saudi
But
anymore.
shale is a very good buffer against oil.
Yeah, but then, even then, they're now promoting solar and wind.
Sustainable
wind power,
energy,
yes.
which I think the whole world should go.
Yes.
But it seems it's being put to the side, and nuclearization is the biggest it seems to be the attraction for governments today. I mean, it's worked for North Korea. So let's build our own bomb, di ba?
However, on the short run, it is expensive because of the technology.
May kamahalan.
May kamahalan yan. Now, on the long run, however, it's going to be the cheapest on the long run. But that's a period of 30 years.
But yeah. Okay, so we've got Iran. How does Iran and the conflict and the brewing conflict with Europe, America, and Iran, of course, there's Israel on the side, how does that affect us naman here in Asia?
Okay. It affects us in Asia as far as oil is concerned, no?
Ayun, so the movement.
Yes, it's the movement.
So,
but
Saudi Arabia has the volume control for that.
no, we have one thing going on now. We are on renewable energy
Okay.
hunt, and this, I think, is what the government should be pushing. Because in the short and long run, it's going to be much more cheaper than what.
I believe that being just the sun, first solar, not even wind, but more solar. Dapat we should be one of the biggest, di ba? But we're not. In fact, it's too expensive to buy right now.
But it is just, as I look at it, it's a matter of explaining to the people why it should be supported.
Why it should be
Yeah,
supported.
because I don't think all the congressmen know the total impact and how best it is for the country.
You saying
that
they're
we
stupid?
No, I'm not saying that. I think
We've been talking about solar and wind and renewable for about 5-6 years on this show. Correct me if I'm wrong, di ba? You had that. You had
Yes.
that issue. That was your topic in your program.
correct. However,
7 years ago.
However, while we're not telling them they're stupid, their priorities
Are
should
different.
are
Diba?
different. And next year is an election year. My
Politics
God,
pa rin eh.
they have started already now.
Yeah, but whoever they put up, wala mangyayari naman. Kasi Liberal Party lang naman. I think this is the time for independents to come in.
Yes.
But if it's the Liberal Party, I don't think any single one of them will win.
No.
And maybe they will shut up finally, and accept the fact that they have nursed their cancer to its terminal end. Now, if Iran is not a big issue, and we are moving
For
away-
us,
For us,
Yeah.
yes. It's not. We should not be concerned, or should we? Because after all, that's the Muslim majority na naman eh.
We still have to be concerned, but it is not it's not priority. What should be our priority?
The ASEAN.
ASEAN should be, yes, because it's the biggest trading partner of the Philippines.
Yeah, but the ASEAN can't even make one singular statement in unison. The ASEAN talks about everything. I remember we were supposed to merge 4 years ago. Di ba?
Integrate.
Integrate. Hindi pa rin. Hindi magawa-gawa. I mean, you've got 3 countries that are pro-China. You got Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar.
Yes.
Who are dependent on China.
Yeah.
Then you've got the other
They have
3.
borders with China.
Yeah, their borders. And then you have the 3, Vietnam, Indonesia, and they're against China.
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
They're against China. They're
Yeah.
holding them back. Tayo, we're right in the middle.
Yeah.
Di ba? But how can the ASEAN even work if unanimously they can't? Sure, they keep meeting and shaking hands, and they're transferring the ASEAN
My
year.
my suggestion is
It's useless.
useless to have one common unified statement for ASEAN. Because, like I said in these programs that we have had before, there are 2 words in the ASEAN that prevents that kind of unity. One is mufakat.
Mufaka.
Mufakat means consensus.
Consensus.
Meaning
What language is
no,
that?
Bahasa Indonesia, not consensus, meaning consultative meetings.
Consultative.
Yes, mufakat. And then mushawara. Mushawara is consensus. That means even if 9 of the 10 agree,
One is enough.
one is enough
Parang
to.
Rotary, no?
Yes.
Parang Rotary Club. Isa lang mag-negate, hindi na
Yeah.
pwede.
Wala na yan. No?
Oo.
So, what happens now? What we should do is each country, try and negotiate for a non-aggression pact with China. Let us see how sincere is China, So, if
To work as a
Vietnam-
whole, but independently, meaning you make your own pact independently,
Yes.
3 of the 9.
Yeah, so that we get the Philippines, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia,
Thailand.
Thailand, and Indonesia.
Darussalam.
Ah,
Darussalam is also on our side.
yes. So
Brunei.
you have that, and therefore, majority will have the say. Okay, China is not going to be hearing on the conduct of the South China Sea Code of Conduct. No, because they are trying to complete the militarization
Oo nga,
of
they're
the South
trying.
China Sea, because they think that the hell with world criticism anyway. We're going to do what we want. We're powerful. We've got the money,
And
we've
they're
got the
doing it
power,
already.
And they're doing it already. So what? So that's what they're trying to do. Now, you have that, China. We don't have it. Now, let me see. You sign with me, the Philippines and Vietnam, and non-aggression pact. Let me see. Because if you invade us, or you just pull my hair, I'm going to cry help. I'm going to cry aggression. And the world is going to be on our side. Because
Will the world be on our side?
Yes,
Will
yes.
the world even act? It seems the world is a bit lethargic as of late.
Well, remember the Korean War?
Okay.
Yeah. They said it won't happen, but it did.
It did.
It did, yes. Even if it's limited at the start, then everybody else
Jumps in.
Yes, jumps in.
Same as Vietnam.
Yeah. In the
Same
Vietnam
story.
War, the same
Yeah.
thing, And because that was all containment of communism.
Let's go back to our country. So the president is doing right. Well, we are playing footsies with ASEAN. We are not yet convinced. Is it the people that we have installed in the ASEAN that seem to lack the political will to push forward certain positions?
No.
Or takot sila sa presidente because people are blaming the president to be getting too close to China, so to speak.
Well, it is our
Which you explained earlier, na it's a matter of circumstance.
It is our own political practices. Our politics here is personal and transactional. That's what
Yes.
I've always been saying.
Yes.
As long as I know you, you're the compadre of my compadre. You're my boy. I'll be on your side. And it is not meritocracy. Now,
No, it's not.
to change that into the meritocracy culture is something that will take years. Won't happen overnight. However, I'm an incurable optimist. I always look at the young because it took China 50 years to be able to get to this position as an economic power.
No, but
yeah,
that was
we
also
can-
with a bit of hard rule. No?
Yes.
Iba yung, they studied countries that have had hard rulers,
Yeah.
and they've progressed much faster. Diba? Hirap yung mga democracies and open democracies. It's like listening to our president when he starts getting mad at the judiciary and diba? and the legislative.
Yeah.
Because they hold him back.
Yeah. Well,
The
realistically,
rules of law.
Realistically, I agree with you. However, we have to start somewhere. You cannot say, we cannot do it now. No. Do it now, and hopefully you make your own headway.
There was a study that just came out of The Economist wherein the new popular vote, which is what they've seen in Italy, they saw it in France, they've seen it in other European countries, the new vote of not the political parties. The political parties are being pushed back into oblivion, and the new groupings called the millennials, like you were saying. And these are populist votes, so they seem to categorize it as populist votes because they can't identify the politics being left, right, or center, but the populist votes, which brought Trump to power.
Yes.
Okay, do you believe we have that already in the country?
Almost.
And
We
dyan na,
still-
parating
yeah,
na.
parating
Which
na.
is how Duterte won.
Yes. And out of the frustration of the people, we should now have the communicators.
Ayun.
You see, we have people, especially lawyers, they talk in legalese,
No, they're confused. I hate to say it, they confused.
Yes.
Kay Sereno na lang eh. All the legalists, both sides, were conflicting.
Yes.
They were all conflicting and nobody knew what was going on because they were tearing down the very Supreme Court that they swore to abide with.
In short, what I'm saying is this message of change and to nurture the political power from seedling to the tree, to the oak,
Yes.
to the nara, to the dipterocarps. We should have people who can explain simply in their own dialects, not language, because we have 81, 81 provinces, and each province has got its own culture. You see,
And dialect.
and dialect. So you have to have the gatekeeper in each province. And that is what the government does not have, especially in the local governments.
Is that what federalism is supposed to promote?
It's supposed to cure.
Yeah, to cure or address that
Yes.
at the very least
It
with
is.
81 provinces?
It is, they're trying to address it now. Yeah.
So you are for the federalism?
Yes, yes, yes. It all depends now on how they're going to get the communicators, not talking in English, not talking in Tagalog, but talking in the language, in the dialects of the province.
The communicators.
And
Tama yun. That's
the
direct to the point.
context, the context of the message should be given to them directly.
It's not just a matter of generating an awareness, but to understand the problem where
Yes.
it is.
And appreciation,
And appreciate it. Gil, we're at the end of the program, and
Yeah.
it's been great as always. Your message before we close the show.
We should now look at our own national interest. What is the national interest? The national interest concerns our production of food, our capability to produce food. You see, we have the Philippine rice, and that Philippine rice is now a source of our future food, a source of our protected areas for the corals and the marine sources of our food. Under the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, our territorial waters expanded 6 times. And this is something we should exploit. See, regardless of what everybody says, regardless of what everyone criticizes our corruption, our culture, never mind. Just go and focus on one thing. What kind of food can we feed the world with? Because it's no joke. You see, our territorial waters, having expanded so much, have as much people, as much source of food, marine life, Just take one, and I'm talking about seaweed. As long as you're taking medicine in capsule form, you're taking seaweed. As long as you're eating ice cream, you're taking seaweed. As long as you have binders on hamburgers, you're taking seaweed. So as long as you're having paint to paint your house, beautify your house, you're using seaweeds, So, and in the Sulu Sea, you have the best seaweed in the world. Therefore, concentrate on that because we can feed at least a quarter of the world's population. Remember?
Thank you very much, Gil. I guess at the end of the day, at the end of the show, the game is not too much the politics and the intrigue that goes around, but really food security, because from there, it's not the amount of guns and weaponry, it's the amount of food you put in your, because after all, you're still going to need that human person to fire that bullet, to kill someone when, in the end, food security is what sustains all of us. See, at the end of the show, I brought you an intelligent program. I hope you appreciate it as much as I have learned a lot from Professor Gil Santos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again next week. Salamat po.
Okay.